You're listening to the Hella Well with Danielle show, a podcast taking women of color on a journey exploring all things wellness and travel related. We're all about showing you how to put on your oxygen mask first and creating lasting self-care habits that will free you to travel the world and live the life you truly desire, and not one you have to fake loving. I'm your host, Danielle Washington. Now let's buckle up and start this journey. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Hella Well with Danielle podcast, your mental vacay for the busy woman of color who's on her healing journey is in just need of a little bit of guidance on that journey. I realize that the last couple of episodes have been a little bit heavy, and so it's like, let's kind of lighten it up and talk about one of my favorite topics, which is travel. If you don't know, I have been traveling the world for most of my life, and I am an avid solo travel lover, much to the point where I wrote a book about travel is my therapy, which is on Amazon if you want to grab that book. But before we get started with this mental vacation about how you guys can take self-care travel destinations that will help you reset, I wanted us to tune in like we always do. If you're new, every episode, just do a quick little mental check-in, do a little breathing exercise to kind of get us all in the room, all of us kind of here settled in for the moment that we're going to be together before we go off to the rest of our lives. So if you have the opportunity, I invite you right now to take a moment just to close your eyes, rest your hands on your thighs, relax those shoulders and that neck that are probably a little bit high. See where there's any tension in your body. Just start to breathe naturally and just kind of be. See where there's tension, just breathing in through it. Inhaling and exhaling. Maybe taking a moment just to sigh. Sigh out what no longer serves you. Sigh out what doesn't serve you in this moment that we're here today. And take one more deep inhale, holding the breath for a few seconds. And then exhale, opening your eyes and reconnecting with the space that you're in right now. I love travel. I hella love travel. I will say COVID definitely changed my travel lifestyle. And it's so funny. So many people are like, oh my God, you always travel. Like you must be going through it when, COVID was happening. In reality of all, I was actually really good because I found other ways to utilize the things I was getting out of travel. But that being said, I still think travel is one of the best ways to reset, especially like a self-care solo trip. A trip that you're not with other people. So oftentimes we go with other people and we have to do with the compromise. We have to do things we don't want to do. We have to go on someone else's schedule, someone else's pace. And one of the things I love about taking a self-care trip is that you get to learn about how to open yourself up and be vulnerable and connect with other people. Because when you're by yourself, it doesn't mean that you're not talking to anyone unless you're doing like a silent meditation. That's a whole different ballgame. But most of the times, if you're on a self-care trip or if you're on a solo travel trip, you're going to meet people. I actually meet more people traveling solo than when I'm actually traveling with a partner. So solo travel and self-care travel trips has allowed me to be more vulnerable, to be myself more, and in a way that I'm able to connect people on a deeper level that I don't always do when I feel like I'm in a group setting. So I love that about doing like a self-care trip and solo travel. But it also allows you to do what you want. It allows you to move at your own pace, which for me is everything. I have been known to be like, I don't really like this location. And I will literally get on a train, get on a plane, go somewhere else and flip the switch, even change, hotels. I'm like, this hotel isn't working for me. I'm switching. Because again, when you're by yourself and it's about your self-care, if this ain't working for you, there's no one that's forcing you to stay or forcing you to do things that you don't want to do. And that's one thing I love about these solo trips and these self-care kind of trips. I also like that it's an opportunity to reflect on yourself and connect with your own inner power. we don't realize how strong we are until we're by ourselves and got to figure it out. Perfect example of that was when I was stuck in China and I'm like, oh my God, I can't figure out how to get out of this country. Like my flight was like, even wasn't that my flight was canceled. No one spoke English. I was in a situation where it didn't make sense to what they were trying to tell me to do. I'm like, am I ever going to get home? It was like the travel nightmare, but it taught me that resilience, just like living in Italy, taught me that I was stronger than I thought I was. And I think self-care travel is definitely one of those times when you realize, oh, wait, like I really am stronger than I think I am. And the last point about this is that it gives you time to yourself. It gives you a moment to give yourself your undivided attention. And how often do we give ourselves our undivided attention? Probably not that often. So that's why I love doing self-care travel to just reset. And so I wanted to give you guys just some ideals. Like I've been in the travel industry for many years and I no longer function as a travel agency, or I was a curator of wellness travel experiences. And I still plan on doing something like creating retreats. I've been thinking about that. More recently, I saw one of the people who went on one of my trips, Sharice Jones, Sassy Jones, who is amazing. If you don't follow her, she's amazing, amazing, amazing. She recently posted on Instagram about a trip that I curated to Greece and how it inspired her so much that she created one of her, like was a design for one of her scarves, which was amazing. And so I definitely plan on doing something. But going back to all these things, is like I've been curating experiences for many years and it's been a hobby of mine. It was a hobby so much to where I turned it into an actual business. And so I just wanted to give you guys a few vacation ideals for how can you create your own self-care vacation that will help you reset. And the first thing when most people think about self-care trips, they think, oh, you're by yourself, you're kumbaya, you're meditating, you're doing yoga. It doesn't have to be that way. One of the best ideals that I love for a self-care kind of reset moment is indulging yourself. Go somewhere that makes you like live your best life. Self-care doesn't have to mean boring. It doesn't have to mean I need to go within and all these different things. Self-care wellness trip, self-care reset can mean I'm going to New Orleans and I'm eating at all my favorite spots. I'm, connecting with, I like going to see tarot things. I'm going to a crystal store. I love the history of like the kind of the voodoo hoodoo things. Find whatever works for you. If it's going to Vegas and living it up at a club, do that. If it's going to New York and going to museums, it's eating at the best restaurants, it's getting a massage, whatever makes you feel like you are living your best life, do that. Self-care trip that indulges yourself is one that allows you to lose yourself in joy, that makes you just so happy. So whatever gives you the most joy and just like lights you up, that's the type of trip that you want. And finding something that makes you feel that way. So maybe it's going to a sporting event. Maybe it's becoming a tourist, shopping, art, dancing, whatever it is. Find that trip that makes you feel like I'm indulging my best self and I'm living my best life. The other side of the thing of a self-care trip is maybe you want to do like a self-discovery, a spiritual discovery. And I think those are just as equally as great. Self-discovery travel is definitely, or spiritual travel is becoming a huge trend. I think it's been becoming a huge trend before COVID, but especially now. I think COVID's kind of gotten people really thinking about their spiritual discovery, their spiritual journey, their healing journey. And there's so many places you can go that are known for healing destinations. There's, you can visit places that have shamans. Like I know in Bali, I went and met with a Balinese healer. So there's places that have temples, places that have, they're spiritually infused. There's many places in Mexico. You think about Sedona. Arizona is not where you would like, oh my God, it's so spiritual. But technically, if you look up and you hear and read about Sedona, it's known to have this vortex of spirituality. So find places that, and spiritually infuse into their culture and have that kind of, not just I'm going here to have a good time or I'm going here to retreat, but maybe planning a trip that makes you feel that's spiritually enriching your body. It could be even going somewhere like Jerusalem. Like if you're, really religious in Christianity and you want to learn more about biblical places. I think Egypt's also another place that I think of when I'm thinking about spiritual discovery types of trips. And so I think those are amazing to take. And I'm actually planning on doing one myself this year if everything goes well. Another option would be looking into wellness resorts. Spa vacations, again, are probably one of the most popular ways people go to, or types of trips that people take to reset. Love them. They're all over the world. There's probably a spa or resort near you. They're great because it's highly customizable. You can kind of decide what you want to do. It's not, or you can get a package. A lot of them are all inclusive. That's that feeling of being pampered. And who doesn't love being pampered? I love the fact that, they also include like spa treatments, you can massage, sauna. Some of them like have fitness focuses, mental health retreats, and focuses on like mindfulness and meditation. And if you didn't know, another thing I like is that saunas actually are really good for you. And it's not just like, oh, I love going to the spa or going to a sauna, getting a massage. There's actual physical benefits behind them. Like going to a sauna, like there's been studies show that going to saunas can like lower your risk of cardiovascular disease. Getting a massage can help reduce inflammation. And even like a week-long stay can, I don't know, how do I say this? A week-long stay at a health spa can lead to the decreasing your cholesterol and risk of type 2 diabetes. And all in all, it's a great way just to relax. Plus, let's look at history. History has shown in ancient civilizations that going to a bath, getting a massage has been helpful. Look at the Greeks, look at the Egyptians. So look at the Romans. So it's been going on for long enough to know that this is definitely something to consider. Speaking of ancient civilizations and baths, if you love a good Epsom salt bath or a bubble bath, I highly encourage you to consider the idea of taking a hot springs vacation. It's a perfect escape. You don't have to go all the way to Iceland to the Blue Lagoon. I know Beyonce and Jay-Z made that place popular many years ago, and people are still going, but there's so many hot springs and natural springs all over the United States. There's Thundering Springs in Georgia. There's a hot spring in Arkansas, Texas. There's tons in California. Even Idaho is known for having a lot of hot springs, which I thought is interesting. Not where I would probably go. They do look beautiful, but I just don't see myself in Idaho. I don't know. It just seems weird. But that being said, Utah, Washington State, California, Oregon, there are tons and tons and tons and tons of places to go for hot springs. If you're not familiar with what a hot spring is an all-natural body of water that is warmed geothermally. So it's warmer than the normal water would be. I love going to hot springs. They're so amazing. I remember going to a hot spring during a layover in Japan. I had I think a 16-hour layover in Japan. I'm like, oh, what can I do? I'm going to go to a hot spring or a natural spring in Japan. And it was everything. It was perfect. And again, you don't have to go to Japan for it. They're everywhere. But the great thing about going to a natural springs and creating a hot springs vacation is that this actual water is infused with high mineral content, which helps with the skin. It's almost like taking a multivitamin for your skin, and it's been known if you soak regularly in hot springs, it helps with people with eczema. It boosts your circulation, and adds to overall oxygen in the body, which can have tons of positive impacts, including lowering blood pressure, which many of us have. It also is great for reducing stress and fosters relaxation. The heat of the water, soothes and relaxes your muscles and joint pains, and it's just naturally a bomb place to go. And it's just a fun little location that's all natural. So that's something, if you haven't ever done, it's a great way to kind of not just reset your mind, but it resets your body by helping you with your circulation. It resets your skin. It helps with the mineral content. It reduces stress and relaxation, and just, again, a great way to reset and take a self-care vacation. One of my favorite self-care vacations is taking a beach vacation. And it's not just that, oh, I'm going to the beach and I'm going to have fun and I'm getting some vitamin D. Yeah, vitamin D is great. Vitamin D deficiency is on the rise, even for us melanated people, which we don't often realize that we have vitamin C deficiencies. So it's great to be on a beach, get some sun, hang out by the water, but it's more than just that. Yes, being by the water is soothing, the sounds crashing against the shore, makes you feel like you can wash away everything you're worrying about and helps you reset. But also studies have shown that taking short walks on the beach can help boost your mood and affect your mental welfare. The water itself has magnesium and it helps relax the muscles. Think about the salty air, which also has negative ions on it. It helps to boost your serotonin levels, which is known to make you happier. And the funnier part about it is, when you're on the beach and you're out there in the sun, oftentimes we complain because oh my God, I feel so exhausted from being on the beach and being out there in the sun and the weather, the hot air. Well, that whole feeling of that beach exhaustion actually is great for you because it helps you get a better night's sleep. So there's the other benefit of being there, plus the fact that it just improves your immune system. And being by the water, getting in the water, it's just a beautiful way to reset. Even if you take it as using the beach and using the water as a ritual, like it realistically washing away what no longer serves you. There's so many ritualistic ways you can use a beach vacation, and I love, love, love them. Another thing I like doing is taking a trip in nature, like getting outdoors and connecting with Mother Earth. Research has also shown that being outdoors, even just for a short period, can improve your mood and reduce stress. I love the fact that when you get into nature, it allows you to do something different. It allows you to escape that urban life, the hustle and bustle, and slow down the pace, which is something that helps us reset. We're always so busy going. Being in nature with less distractions and less kind of stimuli around you really helps you to slow down so you can reset your body and your mind. It's a great way to enjoy the peacefulness of the environment. You can hear the birds chirping, there's less noise. It allows you to focus in more when you're able to, again, have those distractions kind of disappear to the waste. I also love that it's built-in physical fitness if that's what you want. If you don't want, you can hang out in a cabin, chill all day, do nothing, sleep, and there's nothing wrong with having a whole snooze fest. Any of these trips, taking a moment where you go somewhere just to sleep is a perfect vacation. And there actually are trips that are just about just sleeping. They have sleep therapy, all these different things. That's a whole other type of trip that you can take. And I totally recommend that as another way to reset. But going back to nature is, you have that ability to add in that physical aspect of it. So whether it's hiking, whether it's canoeing, finding something else, I just love the fact that you have that physical side that helps you move the body, move the motions that oftentimes are stuck because we're so sedentary. We just sit all day in front of a computer and we don't move. And so I love that being in nature allows you kind of that natural ability to keep you fit. It also is a great way to just breathe better. You're removed from the pollution of we see in many cities, and it just allows you to breathe healthier air and giving your lungs a break. And it connects you with the beauty of nature. There's something so invigorating, I find, with being surrounded and looking up, and I see all these beautiful redwood trees, or even when you're in a mountaintop, or all those different things. There's something, again, that's magical and spiritual that you can make. all of these trips, you can make your own thing of connecting, whether it's you're outdoors and you're having a fire ceremony, you're burning what no longer serves, you're burning limiting beliefs. There's so many different ways you can use being out in nature. And there's many different destinations for it as well. Another thing I like to do is taking a digital detox vacation, getting off the grid. Yes, you can do that in many other locations in nature sometimes when you don't have Wi-Fi, but finding a location where it literally has its internet free and you can truly unplug is something that we kind of all need. We're so connected to our phones. We're so connected to the pings of our computers. We're so connected to the little red dots that pop up and the notifications on our phones and on our computers and the emails. Taking a vacation where you're off the grid, taking a vacation where there is no Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi is extremely limited is bae. Being able to allow yourself again to slow down, to limit the time on the screen. There's something that's soothing to it, but I also scientifically, research shows that it's actually really good for you. And the last part that I wanted to mention is you don't have to go far. I'm totally team staycation all day, every day. Staycations are wonderful. Staycations where you can find a local resort if that's what you want to do, grab an Airbnb, book a massage, get a facial, get a Reiki session, acupuncture, have a fancy meal, explore nature in your area, or you can create your own silent retreat. There's so many different ways that you can create your own self-care reset trip right in your own backyard. We always think that we have to go far to have these moments to reset, but you don't. You can go literally, you can make your own house your self-care staycation retreat. But if that doesn't feel right because you still have the reminders that kind of, oh, my computer's here. Oh, my family's here. Oh, all these other distractions, rent an Airbnb. I am notorious for renting Airbnbs down the street from me. And I just relax, woosah, and reset. We all need time alone. We all need time to reset. So take these ideals, whether it's a staycation, whether it's getting off the grid and going to a place that doesn't have a lot of Wi-Fi or no Wi-Fi, whether it's connecting with nature or being in the beach, which is also connecting nature. When I think of nature, yes, beach is nature, but also when I think of that foresty feel, that the dirt and the ground and feeling like literally, I love hugging a tree. Try hugging a tree. There's something magical, amazing about hugging a tree. Getting out and venturing, experiencing a hot spring, going to a wellness resort, having your own spiritual discovery trip, or as I started off in the beginning, finding out what gives you joy and letting that reset you. Reset with joy. Whatever you choose, honor yourself, figure out what is right for you. And that's kind of the most important part with all of these things is you want to start off with figuring out, well, what is your goal? Like, what does it look like to reset? What does resetting look like for you? Figure out what that is and then plan away. Next week, to kind of continue this love fest of traveling, I'm going to talk about actual destinations. I'm calling them my finding my way back type of travel destinations. I don't know what we're calling it, but that's kind of the ideal of my favorite places to go for self-care trips and discovery trips that I have taken that I think that you guys may like. So stay tuned for that next week, and I will see you then. Love you, and see you then. Ciao. Thanks for joining us this week on the Hello Well with Danielle show. Make sure to visit our website, hellowellwithdanielle.com, where you can subscribe to our show on iTunes, Spotify, and Amazon Music and never miss an episode. Also, you can follow us on social media at Hello Well with Danielle on Facebook and Instagram, and Hello Well Danny on Twitter. And if you like hella love the show and got some good nuggets out of it, know that I'm not too proud to ask for you to please leave a rating or review on iTunes so that we can continue to expand our reach and help other women of color. Again, thanks so much for listening, and I hope to see you next week. Ciao.